Hello everyone, welcome back to the Jikook Diaries channel. Today we'll be discussing a moment so simple yet so special. An event that took place in a seemingly ordinary airport, yet it brought an extraordinary warmth to anyone who followed the journey of love and friendship between two special individuals from BTS, Jimin and Jungkook. On the afternoon of July 7th, Jimin, Jungkook, and SUGA were spotted at Incheon International Airport. Their destination was the United States, where they would begin work on BTS's new album. This marked a significant moment for all the members after completing their military service, a highly anticipated new beginning. Reports indicated that Namjoon had already arrived there, confirming that all the members were now reunited to begin a new phase in the group's history. However, the public's greatest attention was not solely focused on their music project, but rather on an unexpected and special moment between two beloved members, Jimin and Jungkook. It all began with their arrival at the airport. SUGA and Jimin exited the first vehicle. However, Jimin suddenly stopped and looked back, as if sensing something was missing. He waited. Shortly after, Jungkook exited the second vehicle. Jimin didn't want to continue without Jungkook by his side. He waited for him naturally, as if knowing his place was right next to him. As Jungkook approached, something even more meaningful happened. Their hands met, clasping together without hesitation. It wasn't an awkward gesture, but something that felt completely natural, as if it were part of them. The moment was so powerful that Korean media outlets titled it, "The Jikook couple travels together again." The word couple here was no accident. The way they behaved that day didn't reflect the relationship of two ordinary co-workers. They knew they were being watched in a public space, but they didn't hide anything. Jimin made a conscious decision to wait for Jungkook. In other formal situations, the BTS members usually keep their distance or stand in a certain formation. But Jikook broke that pattern. The way they walked side by side, smiling at each other, and holding hands suggested their bond transcended friendship or professionalism. The media outlets calling them a couple weren't over-speculating. What was seen before the cameras was the unfiltered reality. An intimate, sincere, and meaningful scene. And this wasn't the first time. Over the years, Jimin and Jungkook have displayed a closeness that requires no words. But this moment, the moment Jimin waited for Jungkook and held his hand, seemed to confirm what fans had only ever felt. They weren't just traveling together. They were sharing something that only those who were sensitive to the smallest details could see. Amidst the hustle and bustle of preparing for a new album, fans discovered a much bigger story in this small gesture. One that was built step by step, day by day. For some, holding hands might be commonplace. But for public figures like them, who live in the spotlight and tight schedules, every gesture carries meaning. Jimin and Jungkook chose to show themselves as they truly are. They didn't shy away from physical contact. Instead, they sought each other out, waited for each other, and held hands as if it were the most natural thing in the world. For Jikook's fans who had been following this journey for a long time, that moment was key, because it wasn't a performance from a variety show or a music video clip. It was real life, captured in real time, a powerful, silent statement. We're here, together, as always. While the fandom celebrated BTS's return, Jikook's fans also celebrated small signs like this. Because for them, this wasn't just a chance moment, but confirmation that the relationship between Jimin and Jungkook remained strong, unique, and real. While some people tried to connect Jungkook with Taehyung, that moment at the airport was a clear, simple, and powerful response. Jikook wasn't just a theory or a fantasy. They were two people who fearlessly displayed their closeness, even with the world watching. In every public appearance, Jimin and Jungkook always stole the spotlight. But this time, they did something more. They drew the spotlight entirely on one thing: their togetherness. Their presence in America not only marked a new step for BTS, but also reinforced that their personal bond remained as strong as ever. Jimin, with his elegant style and painterly features, looked so confident. His walk was calm yet firm, his eyes filled with conviction. But what was most striking was how harmonious he and Jungkook were. It was as if every detail had been thought out to make them appear as one entity, not just two members of the same group, but two individuals connected on a deeper level. Jungkook, with his signature attention to detail, displayed a beautiful harmony. Polished nails to match the clothes, Incheon, who was in sync with Jimin, displayed a visual intimacy that was unfeigned. They were matched and not in the sense of mere friends. Their compatibility wasn't just about their clothes, but also about the symbolic message they conveyed. The clothes they wore seemed like part of a silent choreography, conveying harmony. And in that moment, the world's focus was no longer divided between the BTS members, it was all on the two of them. Detail-conscious Jikookers saw it clearly. They waited for each other, never separated, and even in casual moments, remained in each other's company. As a couple, their way of sharing space was distinct. There was an emotional closeness, mutual understanding, and trust that couldn't be faked. Seeing them together, without the need for over-the-top performances, was enough for believers to keep hoping. This trip to America was part of BTS's project preparations, but for many fans, it was also a precious moment to witness how Jikook's relationship continued to thrive. Amidst major changes within the group, their relationship hadn't weakened, it had only grown stronger. Through rumors, long years, and breaks between activities, they continued to walk side by side, as if they never wanted to be apart. Their silent yet powerful synchronicity was proof that something special lived on between them. There was no need for public statements or explicit confessions. The way they looked at each other, walked together, and even matched their outfits was proof enough. Jimin's fans didn't need any external validation. This moment alone was a silent confirmation of what they had always believed. Because ultimately, there was no need for a kiss on camera or sweet words to say. They were still together as best friends, as a couple, and as part of BTS's history and the lives of their fans. One of the most striking aspects of Jimin and Jungkook's relationship is the frequency with which their gestures repeat themselves. These aren't random habits, but tangible signals between two people who feel deeply connected. The way they touch each other without hesitation, seek each other out in crowds, and share closeness so naturally shows that their relationship is more than just friendship. Over the years, many moments like this have been captured by the public eye. Each new moment strengthened that bond, making it harder to ignore. Nothing seemed forced. It all just flowed naturally. The way Jimin leaned into Jungkook, the way Jungkook looked at him, all conveyed an emotional intimacy that could only grow from a deep, genuine connection. They didn't need explanations. A glance, a small smile, a quick touch were enough to communicate everything. And even if some denied or downplayed it, new moments always emerged that only strengthened the fans' belief. Because when the same gestures were repeated over and over again, in a context that only happened between them, it was no longer a coincidence. It was a pattern, and this pattern had only one meaning: the dynamic of two people who loved each other and no longer wanted to hide it. And as the plane took off, carrying them to a new continent, one thing remained in the hearts of the fans: hope. Hope that the story we were witnessing wasn't just about two stars shining on the world stage, but about two hearts that still beat to the same rhythm, even without music. Jimin and Jungkook didn't need to say much. They never really explained it, and maybe they didn't need to, because love in any form doesn't always have to be announced. Sometimes, it's enough to show it. By waiting, by holding hands, or by walking together without hesitation, even when the whole world is watching. Amidst the glitz of global careers and the spotlight, they still found each other. And for those of us who believe, those small moments are more than enough to convince us that what they have is real. Thank you for watching this video until the end. If you felt the warmth of this moment as much as we did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. What does Jikook's handshake mean to you? See you in the next sweet Jikook moment. Purple Heart Jikook Diaries, where silent love speaks the loudest. Purple Heart.